I am Dr. Harjinder Singh, Assistant Professor in Chemistry at Multani Mal Modi College, Patiala. Now, in this video lecture, we will discuss various electronic transitions that are possible in UV visible spectroscopy. And we have already discussed in previous lecture in UV visible spectroscopy, we study the interaction of UV visible radiations that have a wavelength in between 200 to 800 nanometer. So we study the absorption of radiation in between 200 to 800 nanometer in case of UV visible spectroscopy. And in this wavelength, mainly electronic transitions take place within the molecule. Now, electronic transition means electron from the lower energy orbital. So in this case, in UV visible spectroscopy, electron from the lower energy orbital jumps into higher energy orbital. So in UV visible spectroscopy, these are electronic transitions, and how these electronic transitions take place by absorbance of radiations in this UV visible region, and electron jump from lower orbital or lower orbital energy level to the higher energy level or the orbital of higher energy. Now in any organic compound, the electron, it may be present into different orbitals. As we know, there are three kind of orbitals that in which electrons are present in organic compounds, and these orbitals, they are sigma orbital. So your electron may be present in sigma orbital, and these sigma electrons, they are mostly present in case when there are single bond or in saturated compound. Or your electron, it may be present in pi orbital, for example in double bond. And your electron, it may be present in non-bonding orbitals. So in these non-bonding orbitals, they do not participate in bonding, so they are present as such over the atom. So in organic molecule, these electrons, they may be present in sigma orbital, they may be present in pi orbital, or they may be present in non-bonding orbitals. So your electron, as I already told you, it may be sigma electron, which is present in sigma bonding molecular orbital, and the higher energy orbital for this sigma bonding molecular orbital will be sigma star anti-bonding molecular orbital. So electron, if electron is present in sigma, one sigma bonding molecular orbital, there will be a one sigma star anti-bonding molecular orbital will be also there, which will be vacant. So this sigma star anti-bonding molecular orbital will be of higher energy. Similarly, electron may be present in your electron may be pi electron. So these pi electrons as non-bonding electrons. So these non-bonding electrons, since they do not participate in a bonding, so they are present as such in a non-bonding molecular orbital, and there is a no corresponding anti-bonding molecular orbital as they do not participate in bonding, so they are present as such. So the lower energy orbitals are your sigma orbital, pi orbital, and non-bonding orbital. So the electron may be present in these orbital, and higher energy orbital may be sigma star anti-bonding molecular orbital, pi star anti-bonding molecular orbital. So the electronic transitions take place within these molecular orbitals, in which electron from the bonding molecular orbital or non-bonding molecular orbital jumps to the anti-bonding molecular orbitals. So the various kind of transitions are possible from these molecular orbitals. The main transitions are that the pi star. Anti-bonding molecular orbital. So these are different transitions that are possible. So these four transitions are normally possible in any organic compound: sigma to sigma star, pi to pi star, n to sigma star, and n to pi star. Now we will discuss each of transition in detail one by one. Let us begin with sigma to sigma star transition. So as I already told you, in sigma to sigma star transition, electron from sigma bonding molecular orbital, so in this case electron from sigma bonding molecular orbital jumps to or undergo promoted to sigma star anti-bonding molecular orbital, which is vacant, by the absorption of UV visible radiations. Now as we have seen previously, the energy gap over here, you can see the energy gap between sigma bonding molecular orbital and sigma star anti-bonding molecular orbital is maximum. So the sigma to sigma star transition, since the energy gap between sigma and sigma star orbitals is maximum, so these transitions, they require maximum energy. As the gap between sigma to sigma star is maximum, so they require maximum energy. And since they require maximum energy, and relation between energy and wavelength is E is equals to Sc upon lambda. Now since energy and wavelength, they are inversely proportional to each other, so these transitions, they take place at shortest wavelength, since lambda is inversely proportional to energy. So these transitions, they take place at shortest wavelength. And these transitions, they usually take place by absorption of UV radiations, with wavelength less than 200 nanometers. So they take place at the very shorter wavelength, since the energy gap between sigma to sigma star is maximum. Moreover, these transitions take place in all organic compounds. Since all organic compounds, they consist of single bond, they always have a sigma electrons, for example like this. So all of these organic compounds that contains a single bond, they undergoes a sigma to sigma star transition, since they are possible in all organic compounds that are having sigma bonds. For example, in methane, now suppose you have a methane molecule. If you have methane like this, now in methane, these sigma to sigma star transitions, they take place, since there are only a single bonds are there. So these sigma to sigma star transitions take place, in which electron from this sigma bond or the sigma molecular orbital jumps to the sigma star anti-bonding molecular orbitals. And in case of methane, in case of this ethane molecule, so this is ethane molecule, and in case of this ethane molecule, this sigma to sigma star transition, it take place at with absorption maxima of 125 nanometer. So they usually take place at a very shorter wavelength. So these were the sigma to sigma star transitions. So their main points are: electron from sigma bonding molecular orbital jump to the sigma star anti-bonding molecular orbital, and since energy gap between sigma to sigma star is maximum, they take place at the shorter wavelength, usually less than 200 nanometer, and they take place in all organic compounds that are having single bond. For example, in case of ethane, this sigma to sigma star transitions take place at 125 nanometer. So since these transitions they take place in almost all organic compounds, so they are not of very useful. The second kind of transition is N to sigma star transition. So in case of N to sigma star transition, electron from non-bonding molecular orbital, so in this case electron from non-bonding molecular orbital jumps to the sigma star anti-bonding molecular orbital by absorption of radiations. Now here in this case, the energy gap between N to sigma star is less than sigma to sigma star transition. So they require less energy. So these transitions, they require less energy. So they require less energy as compared to sigma to sigma star transition. So they take place at slightly longer wavelength as compared to sigma star transition, as they require lesser energy. So they take place at the longer wavelength as compared to sigma star transitions. These kind of transitions are shown by those compounds in which you have both non-bonding electron as well as sigma bond. For example, if you have any heteroatom, which is attached with the single bond. Now if there is a pair of non-bonding electrons over this heteroatom like this, it will show sigma to N to sigma star transition. So in this case, these non-bonding electrons, so these are your sigma bond, these are our sigma bond, this is also a sigma bond, and these are non-bonding electrons. So here in this case, these non-bonding electrons, they can jump into the sigma star anti-bonding molecular orbital. So here N to sigma star transitions take place, and this non-bonding electron, they can jump into sigma star anti-bonding molecular orbital. So here the electron, this non-bonding electron, it jumps to the sigma star anti-bonding orbital. So here your X may be any heteroatom that are having non-bonding electrons, such as X may be like oxygen. Oxygen also have a lone pair of electron, non-bonding electron. X may be nitrogen, or X may be any halogen. So it may be any heteroatom that are having non-bonding electron. Now the other feature is, in these transitions, the energy required for this transition also depends upon the electronegativity of this heteroatom, and lesser electronegativity of this heteroatom, if the electronegativity of this heteroatom is less, these lone pair of electrons, they will be loosely held by this heteroatom, and they can be easily transferred to the sigma star anti-bonding molecular orbital. So that means lesser electronegativity, lesser energy will be required for N to sigma star transition, and transition will take place at longer wavelength. So if for example, if you have a methyl chloride, and if you have methyl iodide, so here you also have these non-bonding electrons, and over iodine you also have a non-bonding electrons. Now since electronegativity of chlorine is more as compared to iodine, so more energy is required for this N to sigma star transition as compared to iodine, where lesser energy is required. So in case of this chlorine, this transition take place at shorter wavelength as it require more energy, and here in case of methyl chloride, this wavelength is lambda max is 174 nanometer. While in case of iodine, this electron activity of iodine is less as compared to chlorine. So these bond pair of electrons, they are loosely held, so they require less energy to transfer to sigma star antibonding molecular orbital. So here in this case, this lambda max is longer as they require lesser energy, and it is 258 nanometer. So here in this case, it is 258 nanometer. So lesser electron activity, that means lesser energy required, and longer is wavelength. The another transition is pi to pi star transition. So in case of pi to pi star transition, electron from pi bonding molecular orbital, so here in this case, electron from pi bonding molecular orbital jumps to pi star anti-bonding molecular orbital, which are vacant. Now since these pi to pi star transitions, they require less energy, as compared to sigma star and n to sigma star. Sigma to sigma star require maximum energy, then n to sigma star. After that you have a pi to pi star. So they take place at longer wavelength as compared to sigma star or n to sigma star. Now these kind of transitions, they take place in those compounds which are having pi bonds or which are having pi electrons. So those compounds that are having pi bonds or pi electrons, they will undergo a pi to pi star transitions. And these transitions, for example, normally take place in a compounds like which are having double bonds, like you have a in alkenes. So in case of alkene, there is a carbon-carbon double bond, so pi to pi star transition can take place in carbonyl compound, in alkyne. So any compound that is having this double bond, it can undergo a pi to pi star transition. Normally these transitions, they take place with high intensity. These transitions, they have a high intensity, and they have a longer wavelength as compared to sigma star or n to sigma star transition. For example, pi to pi star transition in case of simple carbonyl compounds. So for example, if you have a carbonyl compound like this, now in this case these pi electrons are there, so these pi to pi transitions can take place. Now in these cases, this pi to pi star transition, they take place, pi to pi star transitions, they take place at wavelength 180 nanometer. In case of carbonyl compound, pi to pi star transition take place at 180 nanometer. The last one are n to pi star transitions. Now, so again in this case, the electrons from non-bonding molecular orbital and non-bonding molecular orbital, they jumps into pi star anti-bonding molecular orbital. So here in this case, the energy requirement for n to pi star transitions is minimum, so they require minimum energy. And since they require minimum energy, so they take place at longest wavelength, and these transitions take place in the compounds where you have both double bond, and this double bond is attached with the heteroatom containing bond pair of electrons. For example, you have a carbon oxygen double bond, so there are a non-bonding electrons. These non-bonding electrons, they can jump into the pi star anti-bonding molecular orbital of this double bond. Or you have a carbon double bond nitrogen, carbon double bond sulfur, or carbon triple bond nitrogen. So in all these compounds, or nitrogen double bond, sorry, or in case of these nitrogen, double bond nitrogen may be there like this. So these n2 pi star transitions, they take place in all compounds that are having heteroatom and both heteroatom and pi bond. They can take place in these compounds. These n2 pi star transitions, they require minimum energy, so they take place at the longest wavelength. And the other characteristics of this n2 pi star transition is that they are usually of low intensity. So pi to pi star transitions, they are of very high intensity. N2 pi star transitions, they are of low intensity. For example, we will take this example of carbonyl compound again. Now in carbonyl compound, this n2 pi star transition is also possible. And here in this case, the n2 pi star transition, it takes place at wavelength 285 nanometers. So you can see this pi to pi star transition of this carbonyl compound take place at 180 nanometer, but n2 pi star take place at 285 nanometer, which is of the longer wavelength as compared to simple n2 pi to pi star transition. However, these transitions, they are having low intensity. So in general, in nutshell, we can say the four kind of transitions are possible, in which sigma to sigma star transitions, they requires very high energy. Then you have a n to sigma star. Then you have a pi to pi star, and n to pi star transitions. N to pi star transitions, they require minimum energy, or they take place at the longest wavelength, while sigma to sigma star transition, they take place at the shortest wavelength. For example, in case of alcohols, what transitions are possible? Now since there is sigma bonds are there, so sigma to sigma star transition is possible. And this oxygen also have a bond pair of electrons, non-bonding electrons, so n to sigma star transition is possible. So these two transitions are possible in case of alcohols. Similarly, if we take any other example, like in case of we take this example, propene, 1-propene, so you have a CH double bond CH2. Now here in this case, you have both sigma and pi bond, so the transitions possible are sigma to sigma star and pi to pi star. Since there are no non-bonding electrons or no heteroatoms, so no n to pi star is possible. Or if you take another example, if you take the example of like acetone. Now acetone is this one. Now in acetone, you have both sigma bond, pi bond, and this oxygen also have a heteroatom. So here all transitions are possible. So here sigma to sigma star is there, then n to sigma star is also there, pi to pi star, and n to pi star is also there. So all four transitions are there. So these are the different electronic transitions that are possible in organic compounds.